can you tell me that your father, my husband, got you pregnant? I'm sorry, I didn't mean for this. Mama, please, I'm sorry. Mama, please forgive me. Mama, please, get out of my house. You evil child, get out and never come back.
Grace stood at the cemetery gate, her hands shaking. Her daughter Blessing, now 15 years old, stood beside her, confused. Mama, why are we here? Blessing asked. You never talk about this place. You never talk about your family. Grace looked at the graves in front of them. 2 graves. Side by side. Her mother. Her father. Today, I will tell you everything, Grace said quietly. Everything I have been hiding for 15 years. Blessing saw tears in her mother's eyes. She had never seen her mother cry before. Mama, what happened? Grace took a deep breath. Sit down, my daughter. This story is long. And it is painful. But you need to hear it. Grace was 18 years old, in SS3, preparing for her WAEC exams. She lived in Ajigunal village with her parents and 3 younger siblings. Everyone in the village knew Grace. Not just knew her. They loved her. Every morning, Grace woke up at 5 a.m. She fetched water, swept the compound, helped her mother cook, walked her siblings to school, then went to her own classes. After school, she helped in her mother's small shop selling rice and beans. Grace's father, Mr. Okonkwo, was very proud of her. Every evening, he would sit outside with his friends, drinking palm wine, bragging. My Grace is not like these useless children you people are raising, he would say, laughing loudly. That girl will make me proud one day. In the village, mothers used Grace as a weapon. When their daughters misbehaved, they would shout, "Why can't you be like Grace? That girl does not give her parents headache." One day, a woman said to Grace's mother, "Sister Ruth, you better hold that girl tight. Her heart is too soft. One day, person go use her." Grace's mother, Mrs. Ruth, just laughed. Grace has sense. Don't worry. But that woman shook her head. It is the good girls that suffer most in this world. One evening, Mr. Okonkwo called Grace. My daughter, I have found a teacher for you. A very good teacher. He will give you private lessons for WAEC. His name is Uncle Joseph. Uncle Joseph was a tall man, maybe 35 years old. He always wore clean shirts. He smiled too much. He spoke big English that made everyone feel like he was very educated. Grace, Uncle Joseph would say during lessons, your brain is very sharp. If all students were like you, teachers would retire early. At first, the lessons were normal. Uncle Joseph taught well. Grace was learning. 2 months passed. Everything was fine. Then things began to change. It was a Saturday morning. Grace woke up feeling somehow. Her body was heavy. Her head was spinning. But Grace was not the type to complain. She got up. She fetched water. She helped her mother cook jollof rice. When the food was ready, Grace took the first spoon. Her face changed. She couldn't swallow it. Suddenly, Grace jumped up and ran outside. She vomited. Everything in her stomach came out. Mrs. Ruth ran after her. Grace! Grace, what is wrong? Grace was coughing, crying, vomiting. Her whole body was shaking. Mr. Okonkwo came outside, frowning. What is happening here? She is vomiting. Mrs. Ruth said, panicking. Mama Chidi, a neighbor, came running. Maybe it is malaria. Mrs. Ruth boiled bitter herbs. Grace drank them. But the vomiting did not stop for 3 days. But Grace knew. Deep inside, she knew something was very wrong. 2 weeks passed. Grace became quiet. Too quiet. She stopped laughing with her siblings. She stopped playing with children in the compound. One afternoon, Mrs. Ruth noticed something strange while folding clothes. Grace's underwear had a different kind of stain. Mrs. Ruth's heart began to beat fast. No. It cannot be. Not my Grace. She called Grace into the room and locked the door. Grace, remove your clothes. Grace's hands started shaking. Mama, why? I said remove your clothes. Now. Grace began to cry. Tears were pouring down her face. Mama, please. Remove it. Slowly, Grace removed her wrapper. She stood there shaking. Mrs. Ruth looked at her daughter's stomach. It was still flat, but there was a small curve. A softness that was not there before. Mrs. Ruth sat down on the bed slowly. She did not shout. She did not scream. She just sat there, silent. Grace was crying now. Full crying. Mama. Mama, I didn't. Mrs. Ruth raised her hand. Stop talking. She walked out and went to Mr. Okonkwo. Your daughter, Grace. She is pregnant. Mr. Okonkwo stared at his wife. Then he started laughing. Ruth, what nonsense are you saying? Go and see for yourself. When he saw Grace, his smile disappeared. He walked out without saying one word. That evening, Mr. Okonkwo called Grace. She stood in front of him. Her siblings watched from the corner. Mrs. Ruth stood by the door. Mr. Okonkwo's voice was calm. Too calm. Grace. Who is responsible? Grace said nothing. I asked you a question. Who did this to you? Silence. Grace, you are 18 years old. You are an adult. Tell me the man's name. I will go to his house right now. But Grace could not say it. The truth was locked inside her throat. How do you tell your father that 3 months ago, when Mama traveled to the village for a funeral, Papa came home very drunk? So drunk he could not walk straight. How do you explain that you were sleeping in his room because your room was too hot, and in the darkness, he thought you were Mama? How do you explain that you tried to say, Papa, it's me, Grace, but his hand covered your mouth, and it happened so fast? How do you explain that when morning came, Papa didn't remember anything? He woke up with a headache and asked, Where is your mother? Grace could not say it. So she said nothing. Mr. Okonkwo stood up. You are protecting him. That means you are not serious. Papa, please. Pack your things. Tonight. You will leave this house. Mrs. Ruth stepped forward. Okonkwo, she is your daughter. Where will she go? That is not my problem. I raised her for 18 years. And this is how she repays me. By disgracing my name. Grace's younger sister, Joy, started crying. Papa, don't send Sister Grace away. Shut up. Mr. Okonkwo's eyes were red. You want to follow her example. He looked at Grace one last time. 30 minutes. Pack and leave. Grace knelt down, holding her father's legs. Papa, please. I have nowhere to go. But Mr. Okonkwo pulled away. He went inside and locked his door. Grace packed her things in a small bag. One wrapper. One dress. Her school books. Her WAEC registration slip. As she was leaving, her small brother David ran to her with her old notebook. Sister Grace, don't forget this. Before she could take it, Mr. Okonkwo shouted, David! Come inside now. David dropped it and ran. Grace picked it up. Inside, in her own handwriting, it said, My father is my hero. Grace closed the book and put it in her bag. As she walked through the gate, she could hear Joy crying from the window. Sister Grace, don't go. Grace did not look back. She walked until she reached the main market. It was already dark. All the shops were closed. The market was empty. Grace sat on a wooden bench outside Mama Tinu's shop. She held her notebook and cried until she had no tears left. That night, while the village slept in their beds, Grace slept on a hard wooden bench. Alone. 18 years old. Pregnant and homeless. When morning came, people started coming to the market. When Mama Tinu saw Grace on the bench, she shouted, What are you doing on my bench? This is not hotel. Move. Grace moved to another bench. Then another. By afternoon, everyone knew her. That homeless girl. Grace was hungry. Very hungry. She approached a woman frying a kara. Please, Ma, can I have one? I am very hungry. The woman looked at her with disgust. You want free food? If you are hungry, go and work. An older man passing by stopped and gave Grace 20 naira. Go and buy bread. But as he walked away, one woman shouted, "You don't see her condition. NA pregnancy she carry. Useless girl." The man looked shocked and walked away faster. That evening, as Grace sat on the bench crying, an old woman passed by carrying vegetables on her head. She looked at Grace and stopped. She came closer. "My child, are you okay?" Grace looked up. The woman's face was kind. Very kind. "Yes, Ma," Grace lied. The old woman sat beside her. "You don't look fine. When was the last time you ate?" Grace started crying again. The old woman put her hand on Grace's shoulder and let her cry. "What is your name?" the woman asked gently. "Grace." "I'm Mama Florence. Tell me, where are your parents?" And the whole story poured out. Grace told Mama Florence everything. Well, almost everything. She just said someone did it and she couldn't say who. Mama Florence listened without judging. When Grace finished, Mama Florence said, "Stand up. Pick your bag. You are coming with me." "Coming where, Ma?" "To my house. You cannot sleep here again." Grace could not believe it. "But Ma, you don't know me." Mama Florence smiled sadly. "Bad people don't cry the way you are crying. Come." Mama Florence's house was small but clean. She gave Grace food. Real food. Grace ate like someone starving. "Now tell me," Mama Florence said. "What are your plans?" "Plans?" Grace looked confused. "Yes. What do you want to do? About the baby? About your life?" Grace started crying. "I don't know, Ma. My WAEC is in 2 months. I want to go to university. I want to study medicine. But now everything is finished." "Who said everything is finished?" "Ma." "The baby is coming. Yes. But you are still alive. Your brain is still working. So why are you talking like you are dead?" "But Ma, how will I?" "One step at a time. First, we keep you healthy. Then we plan. You hear me?" "Yes, Ma." "Good. Now listen. My husband died many years ago. My only daughter died during childbirth. This house has been empty. Too empty. Maybe God sent you to me. You are here now. And I will help you. But promise me something." "Anything, Ma. Promise me you will not give up. This world is hard for women like us. But we survive. Say it. I will survive, Ma. Louder. I will survive." 3 months passed. Grace's stomach was growing. Mama Florence had a plan. They would buy bananas from her friend's farm and Grace would sell them at the junction. Every morning, Grace would sit there. Banana. Sweet banana. People bought. People also insulted. See this pregnant girl. Shame. Where is the man? He should be selling, not you. Grace heard everything. But she did not respond. She just sold her bananas. One day, a woman stopped. "Wait. Are you not Grace? Mr. Okonkwo's daughter?" Grace recognized her. One of her mother's friends. "Yes, Ma." The woman shook her head. "So this is what you have become. What a waste." That evening, Grace cried. Mama Florence held her. "Let them talk. You know who you are. That is enough." One night, Grace woke up screaming. The pain was sharp. Too sharp. Mama Florence jumped up. "Is it time?" "The pain, it's too much." Mama Florence had delivered babies before. She prepared everything. "Push, Grace." Grace pushed and pushed. Hours passed. The pain got worse. Grace was losing blood. Mama Florence saw it. This was not normal. "Grace, we are going to the hospital. Mama Ngoz's son will take us on his motorcycle." They rushed to the hospital. Grace was bleeding badly. When they arrived, nurses took Grace inside quickly. Mama Florence waited outside, praying, "God, please save this girl. She has suffered enough." Hours passed. Then she heard it. A baby crying. A nurse came out smiling. "Madam, congratulations. It's a girl. Both are fine." Mama Florence fell on her knees. Thank you, Jesus. When she went inside, Grace was weak but alive. The baby was beside her. Small. Beautiful. Grace looked at her baby and cried. She looks like you, Mama Florence said. Grace touched her baby's face. So soft. Mama Florence, thank you for saving my life. You saved your own life, my daughter. I just walked with you. Grace named her baby Blessing. She returned to selling bananas with Blessing tied to her back. One evening, a well-dressed man stopped. How much for all the bananas? All of them. 2,000 naira, sir. Pack them. As Grace packed, the man asked, What is your name? Grace, sir. You look like someone who should be in school. Grace stopped packing. Sir, I finished secondary school. I was supposed to write WAEC. But things happened. The man nodded. Do you still want to go to school? Grace's eyes filled with tears. Every day, sir. I run an adult education program. Evening classes. Come to this address tomorrow. He gave her a card. Sir, I don't have money. Come first. Then we talk. That night, Grace showed Mama Florence the card. This is a sign, my child. God is opening a door. The next day, Grace met Mr. Johnson, the school owner. Classes are 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. We have daycare for Blessing. And for you, it's free. But promise me you will pass. Grace fell on her knees. Sir, I promise. Stand up, Grace. Nobody should kneel for education. The next 3 years were the hardest. Every day, Grace sold bananas from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Then she attended evening classes. At night, she studied more. Blessing grew. At 3 years old, Grace wrote her WAEC as a private candidate. She passed. All distinctions. Then Grace applied for scholarships. Most rejected her. But one accepted her. Full scholarship to study public health at University of Lagos. When she got the letter, she ran home screaming, Mama, I got it. They cried and laughed together. University was hard. Grace traveled 4 hours every day. She struggled to stay awake in class. One day, her lecturer, Dr. Adeyemi, called her. You are always sleeping in my class. Grace explained everything. 4 hours of traveling. A young daughter. Selling bananas on weekends. Dr. Adeyemi gave her a key. There is a room in the hostel. Small room. You and Blessing can stay there. Free. Sir, why are you helping me? Because someone helped me the same way 20 years ago. Now I am passing it forward. Promise me you will pass this course and help others. I promise, sir. 4 years passed. Grace was in final year. Then Mama Florence called her home. My child, I need to tell you something. I am dying. No, Mama. Shush, listen. I have cancer. I don't have long. Grace, when I found you on that bench, I found myself too. You filled my empty heart. You and Blessing gave me joy. Mama Florence took Grace's hand. I am proud of you. Promise me you will go back to your village one day. Promise me you will tell the truth. Be the voice for girls suffering in silence. I promise, Mama. In my box, there is my daughter's wrapper. Wear it on your graduation day. 3 weeks later, Mama Florence died peacefully. Grace buried her with all her savings. At the funeral, Grace spoke. This woman found me when everyone rejected me. She gave me life. She was my mother. I will never forget her. 6 months later, Grace graduated. First class honors. She wore Mama Florence's wrapper, just like she promised. Dr. Adeyemi came to her. I have a job for you. Public health officer. State government. And Grace, the job is in Ajagun local government. Your village. It's time to go home. Grace got the job. Good salary. She rented a decent house. For the first time, she had security. But she had not gone back to the village. Not yet. Then one day, Her office sent her to Ajigunle to conduct a health program for pregnant women. When Grace saw the assignment, her hands shook. This was it. The day came. Grace drove to the village in the government car. When she parked at the village square, people gathered. Then Grace stepped out. Beautiful suit. Neat hair. Confident. The whispers started. Is that Grace? Okonkwo's daughter? The one that got pregnant? It cannot be. That woman looks important. I'm telling you, it is her. Grace walked to the front. She saw her mother in the crowd. Mrs. Ruth's mouth was open. She saw Uncle Joseph at the back, trying to hide. Grace cleared her throat. Good afternoon. My name is Grace Okonkwo. I am a public health officer. I am here to talk about maternal health. But first, I want to tell you my story. The crowd went silent. 15 years ago, I was 18. I was the girl everyone praised. The perfect daughter. Then I got pregnant. Everything changed. The same people who praised me insulted me. The same village that called me perfect called me a disgrace. Mrs. Ruth started crying. My father threw me out. I slept on a bench in this market. Pregnant. Alone. Homeless. I begged for food. People insulted me. Called me shameless. Grace's voice was steady now. Strong. You all wanted to know who was responsible. You wanted a name. But I could not speak. Because how do you tell your father that he is the one? Gasps. Loud gasps. Some women covered their mouths. Mrs. Ruth collapsed onto the ground. People rushed to her. One night, my mother had traveled. My father came home drunk. Very drunk. I was sleeping in his room. In the darkness, he thought I was my mother. I tried to tell him it was me, but... Grace's voice cracked. But she continued. When morning came, he didn't remember. He never knew. And I carried that pain alone for 3 months. When I got pregnant, I couldn't say it. How could I? Uncle Joseph tried to slip away. Grace pointed at him. And you, Uncle Joseph. You continued coming to this compound. Teaching. Smiling. While I was on the streets. You saw me suffering. You said nothing. Uncle Joseph ran. My father threw me out. But one woman saved me. Mama Florence. She found me on a bench. She took me home. She helped me deliver my baby. She sent me to school. She loved me like her own daughter. Grace wiped her tears. My father never knew the truth. He died 3 years ago. He drowned himself in the river when the guilt became too much. But he never knew it was his own mistake that destroyed his daughter. Mrs. Ruth was wailing now. I knew. God forgive me. I knew something was wrong. I saw the signs. But I said nothing. I failed you. Grace walked to her mother. She knelt down beside her. Mama, I forgive you. Mrs. Ruth held Grace and cried like a baby. I am sorry, my daughter. I am so sorry. Grace stood up and faced the crowd. I came back today not for revenge. I came back to speak for every girl who is suffering in silence. For every girl carrying secrets too painful to tell. For every girl blamed for things that were not her fault. Her voice was loud now. Clear. This village taught your daughters to be like me. Perfect. Obedient. Silent. And when silence almost killed me, you called me a disgrace. But I survived. I fought. I won. I am a university graduate. I am a government worker. I am a mother. And I am standing here today to tell you, I was always a good girl. I still am. The crowd was silent. Some were crying. Grace looked at them one last time. Support your daughters. Believe them. Protect them. Don't wait until it's too late. She turned to her mother. Mama, come. Meet your granddaughter. Her name is Blessing. Grace finished her story. Blessing was crying. Mama, I never knew. All this time, I never knew what you went through. Grace wiped her daughter's tears. Now you know. And I want you to understand something. What happened to me was not my fault. I was a victim. But I refused to stay a victim. I became a survivor. Blessing hugged her mother tight. Mama, when I grow up, I want to be exactly like you. Not the good girl they wanted. The strong woman you became. Grace smiled through her tears. They stood up and looked at the graves one last time. Papa, Grace whispered. I forgive you. Not because you deserve it. Because I deserve peace. She placed flowers on both graves. Then Grace and Blessing walked away. Mother and daughter. Survivors. Unbroken. As they reached the gate, Grace stopped and looked back at the village one last time. She had returned. She had spoken her truth. And she had won. For every girl who was called too good until she was called ruined. For every Mama Florence who chose love over judgment. For every daughter born from pain who became someone's greatest joy. This story is for you. If you enjoy this story, please subscribe, like, share and comment.